Shalom, sisters, and welcome to another episode of Brainwashed. I'm Sister Shayar Yasha Allah of I'm Israel, No Division. Today's subject is Love Thy Sister. There's a lack of love between women in and out of Israel. We've been put against one another since birth, in competition for men, money, jobs. We judge each other from head to toe. And it makes sense because we were never really taught how to love ourselves. So it only makes sense that we have the issue of loving each other. The most sisterhood I've seen in the community of color is with sisters in Greek sororities. Yes, the sisterhood is nice, but it's under loving our master. The Greeks put us under one of the harshest slaveries that we went through. And to be a part of those Greek organizations is just continuing what they began with our ancestors. So I ask today, where is the love? So what is the core issue of the lack of love between sisters? Pride. What is pride? Pride is the deep pleasure or satisfaction derived from one's own achievements, those closely associated, qualities or possessions that are widely admired. Proverbs 20:24 says, "A man's goings is of the Lord." So for someone to have a great pleasure in all that they have and have attained in life, it's against the Most High, because He is the reason why we have what we have and are able to do the things that we're able to do. So that's one strike to pride. Another definition of pride is having an excessively high opinion of one's importance, being arrogant, having vanity, being snobby, being haughty. Some might even say being overly righteous inside this truth. And when we think of those overly righteous people who put themselves on a pedestal, I think of the Pharisees. So let's go into scripture and see what Christ said about those Pharisees. Matthew 23:4-5. For they bind heavy burdens and grievous to be borne, and lay them on men's shoulders, but they themselves will not move them with one of their fingers. But all of their works they do for to be seen of men. They make broad their phylacteries, and enlarge the borders of their garments. So the Pharisees did things to be seen so that other people looked at them well. And that's what pride does. We see ourselves above everyone else, holding people to a standard that we don't even keep ourselves, putting on a facade. Matthew 23:27-28. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For ye are like unto whited sepulchres, which indeed appear beautiful outward, but are within full of dead men's bones, and of all uncleanliness. Even so ye also outwardly appear righteous unto men, but within ye are full of hypocrisy and iniquity. That's what pride does. We seem as though we have everything perfectly going on the outside. But inside, we're a mess. We're full of lawlessness, iniquity, sin. Because pride is sin. Matthew 23:12. But whoso shall exalt himself shall be abased, and he that shall humble himself shall be exalted. So saying that having pride is us exalting ourselves. But if we humble ourselves in the sight of men and in the Most High, then we will be exalted to the greatest places that the Most High has for us. And that's why we don't celebrate birthdays, because birthdays are a day of celebrating yourself. Oh, I'm so great and so awesome because I made it to another year in life. Everyone look at me, shower me with gifts. Be so happy about my life. When indeed the Most High is the reason why you made it to that next year. So that's why we don't celebrate birthdays, because we don't want to exalt ourselves, because the only one who gets exalted, the only one who deserves praise and gifts and glory is the Most High. Ecclesiasticus or Sirach 10, 12, and 13. The beginning of pride is when one departed from God, and his heart turned away from his Maker. For pride is the beginning of sin, and he that hath it shall pour out abomination. And therefore the Lord brought upon them strange calamities and overthrew them utterly. So pride is thinking too highly of ourselves. It's going to bring us our downfall. It's going to cause us to sin one to another. And in this truth, we want to see each other walk well. We don't want to be each other's downfall. Mark 7, 20 through 23. And he said, this is Christ's words, that which cometh out of a man, that defileth that man. For from within, out of the heart of men, proceed evil thoughts. Let's stop right there. Out of the heart of men proceed evil thoughts. The heart doesn't think, the mind thinks. So the heart is the mind. Whatever is in your heart, what is in your feelings, it comes from your brain. It comes from your head. The heart and the mind is the same. For from within, out of the heart of men, proceed evil thoughts, adulteries, fornications, murders, thefts, covetousness, wickedness, deceit, lasciviousness, an evil eye, blasphemy, pride, foolishness. All these things come from within and defile a man. Pride is in the same category as murder, fornication, and blasphemy. They're all going to make you unclean and wicked. And being these holy, separate people that we are, we want to separate ourselves from anything that is unclean or unholy. 1 John 2, 15 and 16. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, and the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, is not of the Father, but is of the world. Being separate. Pride is not of the Most High. Once we cleanse ourselves of pride, then we'll be open to true friendship and sisterhood. So what is friendship? How do we operate in friendship? Proverbs 18 and 24. A man that hath friends must show himself friendly, and there is a friend that sticketh closer than a brother or sister. So being friendly, being open, letting people see who you are. When you see a sister, greet her with a hug and a smile. She comes to a holy day or she comes to your home. Open up. Allow her to see who you are. Offer her some food and wine. I know that always makes me happy and it makes me more open with sisters. And that's something I do. Find things that you guys have in common. Children, work, walks in life, where you come from. Find some commonalities. It's like being on the playground in elementary school. You like pink? I like pink. You like Oreos? I like Oreos. Let's be best friends. It seems silly, but we have to start from these basics because we're becoming new creatures in this truth. So making friends, becoming sisters, we have to learn that all over. Ecclesiasticus 6 and 5. Sweet language will multiply friends, and a fair-speaking tongue will increase kind greetings. So letting the good word get out about you. Let sisters see who you are, how funny you are, how talented you are, what kind of person you are, a kind person you are. Let sisters see that so that when others learn of you through other sisters, it's a good report. Let them only have positive things to say about you, and that's coming with that right spirit. Desiring to be open and to make friends and to build sisterhoods, because we as a people, we're trying to build together our nation. So us as sisters, we have to work probably harder than the brothers to build those bonds of friendship and sisterhood. And if we come together, brothers come together, sisters and brothers come together, it all goes towards the Most High. Beginning friendships and sisterhood can definitely be hard. Like I said, because we've always been pent against one another. I know for me personally, coming out of the world into the truth, I lost every friend or so-called friend that I thought I had because of my change of life and no longer being out in the clubs and doing the things that I used to do. And there's no love lost for those sisters. I still have love, but when you're in different places in life, you're in different places in life. So coming into this truth and meeting other women who are under the same mindset, following the laws of the Most High, we have to make sure that we're building those good friendships with one another. So do we just jump into every sister that we meet and say, you're my best friend? I would say no, because scripture in Ecclesiasticus 6 and 7 prove a friend. If thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first, and be not hasty to credit him. So build relationships with sisters. Get to know them, with their likes, with their dislikes. Just like in the courting process. You're courting a sister to be your friend. Get to know her, what she's into, what commonalities you have, where you guys can build in the truth. Can you study together? Those are the things that we want to base our friendships off of in this truth. How can we grow as sisters, and how can we help grow as a nation? Ecclesiasticus 6, 8 through 13. For some man is a friend of his own occasion, and will not abide in the day of thy trouble. And there is a friend who, being turned to enmity and strife, will discover thy reproach. Again, some friend is a companion at the table, and will not continue in the day of thy affliction. But in thy prosperity he will be as thyself, and will be bold over thy servants. If thou be brought low, he will be brought against thee, and will hide thyself from thy face. Separate thyself from thine enemies, and take heed to thy friends. So we must use the spirit of discernment in who we allow in our circle. Because as we're not supposed to let every spirit into our home, we can't let every spirit into our circle. So choosing like-minded friends, sisters that's in this truth. And when it comes down to following the laws of the Most High, if we're all under one accord with following him and his ways, that should be the basis of any strong friendship in this truth. And this is definitely not to say that everything will always be peachy keen. There'll be no problems. We're all in the truth. We'll never have disagreements. No. But there are ways to work things out. Ephesians 4 and 26. And it reads, Be ye angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath. I'm definitely a big believer in this. To not let issues sit and fester between sisters. You may have a sister who you've been friends with and you disconnected with because of an issue. But if we just sit and talk things out. I know as children we play the game telephone, where if I said something and we passed that same message around the room, by the time it got back to me, the message was different. And that's because we don't tend to speak straight to one another when there's an issue. We'll talk to everybody else about an issue with a particular sister, but we won't talk directly to her. So getting out of that worldly mindset of, oh, she ticked me off, so I'm not dealing with her from here on out. That's not love. Friendship and sisterhood is so important in the truth. We know the brothers are out here reaching souls. So we have our husbands who are out here doing the work of the Most High. We're at home taking care of the children, being that Proverbs 31 woman. We have sisters who aren't married yet. So we have to have our relationships between one another intact to be that stronghold, to lean on one another. Ecclesiasticus 6:14. A faithful friend is a strong defense, and he that hath found such a one found a treasure. Nothing doth contravail a faithful friend, and his excellency is invaluable. A faithful friend is the medicine of life, and they that fear the Lord shall find him. I love that one. A faithful friend is the medicine of life. A good friend can make everything better. Your whole world can be crumbling down completely around you. But if you got your good sister, your good friend whose shoulder you can just lean on, that makes everything better. And when we're communicating and going to one another, we can't be backbiting, telling one another's business. That doesn't build trust. Being an ear, being a shoulder to cry on. I know for me, I have sisters who come to me and they'll lay it all out and lay all their problems, and I'll give them what I can and just be that ear. But then there's the other side of us sisters who are always there for people, but no one really checks in on us. So we have to make sure that it's a balance of those relationships. If you have a sister you can pour out on and give her all your troubles and she can be there for you, make sure you're the same for her. Even if she seems the strongest and like nothing is going on with her, make sure to check in with your sister. So we now know that pride is the basis of our issues with one another. We know how the Most High feels about pride. We talked about the importance of having a sister, a stronghold, having these bonds with one another. But it still leaves the question, how? And this was something I really had to dig deep on for myself coming into this. How do we build these sisterhoods? How do we treat one another in these sisterhoods? And of course, Scripture gives it all. The way that we build these friendships with one another is through charity, our kind acts to one another. 1 Corinthians 13, 1-7. Though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels, and have not charity, I am become as a sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal. And though I have the gift of prophecy and understanding all mysteries and all knowledge, though I have all the faith so that I could remove mountains and have not charity, I am nothing. So we can do the greatest things, have the greatest understandings. But if we don't hold the key of charity towards one another, we're nothing. And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned, and have not charity, it profiteth me nothing. So what is charity? Verse 4. Charity suffereth long, and is kind. Charity envieth not. Charity vaunteth not itself. It is not puffed up. It is not full of pride. Doth not behave itself unseemingly, rude. Seeketh not her own. Is not easily provoked. Thinketh no evil. Rejoiceth not in iniquity, but rejoiceth in truth. We don't want to see each other fall. We want to see each other doing well. We want to be each other's biggest cheerleaders. That's what we want to be in sisterhood and friendship. Verse 7. Beareth all things, believeth all things, hopeth all things, endureth all things. In a true sisterhood and friendship, it's without conditions. We love each other through and through. Good, bad, because we are all human. We're all learning to be better us every day. So we have to be able to stick by one another and help love one another and help teach one another daily. That's what charity is, giving of ourselves to one another. A great story of charity is with Peter and John. Let's read. Acts chapter 3, verse 2. A certain man, lame from his mother's womb, was carried, whom they laid daily at the temple, which is called Beautiful, to ask alms of them that entered into the temple, who seeing Peter and John about to go into the temple, asked an alms. And Peter fastened his eyes upon him with John, and said, Look on us. And he gave heed unto them, expecting to receive something of them. Then Peter said, Silver and gold I have none, but such as I have give I thee. In the name of Yahushua Christ of Nazareth, rise up and walk. And he took him by the right hand and lifted him up. And immediately his feet and ankle bone received strength. And he, leaping up, stood and walked and entered with them into the temple, walking and leaping and praising God. You see, at the end, he praised God. Not Peter, not John. He praised God. All that we do is supposed to be for the glory of the Most High, so that when people see us, they see him and seek him. That's what our charity does. For those who are not in this truth, to see us sisters loving on one another and having that true friendship and that bond, it makes them look and see, okay, why are they so tight? What is it that brings them together? God, let me see. What is it that they do? How is this possible? Because it's strange to the eyes of those who are not in this truth to see us come together that way. Let's astonish the people. Let's give them what they're not looking for. Sisterhood, true friendship. Within showing charity, we're also giving love to one another. So how do I love my sister? John chapter 15, verses 12 through 15. This is my commandment, that ye love one another as I have loved you. Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. Ye are my friends, if ye do whatsoever I command you. Henceforth I call you not servants, for the servant knoweth not what his Lord doeth. But I have called you friends. For all things that I have heard of my Father, I have made known to you. If we're not loving one another, if we're not showing charity to one another, then what are we doing? We're showing hate to one another. 1 John 4:20 through 21. If a man say, I love God, and hateth his brother, he is a liar. For he that loveth not his brother whom he hath seen, how can he love God whom he hath not seen? And his commandment have we from him, that he who loveth God love his brother also. That goes for us too, sisters. If we truly love the Most High, we must truly love one another, because that's the greatest show of love, to love one another as he loved us, to teach one another as he's taught us. That is how we love thy sister, through love and charity. So in closing, I put a challenge of sorts to you. Hebrews 13:2 says, Be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unawares. So as you go out and about, from here on out, when you're in a grocery store, you're at the mall, you're with the children, picking them up from daycare, I want you to simply, with a smile, look a sister in the eye and say, hello. Pass those good vibes. Will everyone speak and say hello back? Probably not. But you took that step towards building that friendship. You took that step towards sisterly love. And if they don't speak back, they'll feel confounded in some way. And maybe they'll go forward doing better and say hello to the next sister they run into. Let's try it. Please feel free to leave comments and let me know how this goes. I actually tried doing this myself with a group of girls that I mentor, and it was a really good exercise for us to do. So please leave comments under the video, subscribe to the page, let me know how this goes, sisters, because we need to take baby steps into building in our relationships with one another. So with that, I say shalom. Love you all.